Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Sagittarius November 2019 horoscope forecast part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, well, as far as November goes, Mars will be in Libra from the 1st until the 19th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, situations with friends and acquaintances, colleagues, people in groups, clubs, and organizations may be more contentious and acrimonious than usual. There may be a lot of passive aggressive energy and confrontations with these people, but there can also it can be over matters of what's fair, what's equitable, what's about what was justified. Some isolated cases, there could be some legal situations as well with one or more of these people I described. Now, another thing, too, is if you're unattached at this time, Sagittarius, you may connect with a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Libra characteristics. It could be for a sexual liaison. It could be somebody that might figure prominently your goals, your aspirations. It could be somebody you meet at some group situation, or maybe a friend. That situation escalates into something stronger. Could also be about a lot of energy and vitality injected into Libra-like goals and aspirations, and it could be something connected with the law, such as being aspiring to be a paralegal, a lawyer, a judge, a bailiff, something art related, such as graphic art design or drawing, sculpting, painting, anything Libra related at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is as far as November goes, Mars will be in Scorpio from the 19th until the 30th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, this could be a time where situations with an aunt or an uncle, people prominent in your private life, it could even be people that are less fortunate than yourself that you've connected with. They may be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious, more so than usual. There could be a lot of vengeful anger, and a lot of anger. It might even be connected with some jealousy in some of these cases. Now, it's also a time to looking at this. I mean, if you're unattached at this time, Sagittarius, you may connect with a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Scorpio traits. It could be for a sexual liaison that could be clandestine, since we're talking about the 12th house, one that's done very surreptitiously. It could also be a time to, looking at this could also be putting a lot of energy into 12th house related matters. It could be helping those less fortunate than yourself, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, the homeless, the hungry. It might be done somewhat secretively, since we're talking about Scorpio energy, or simply a lot of energy and vitality into transforming those people's lives. And it could also be a time too, you're talking about the 12th house of hidden adversaries, and it could be a time too where you're putting this energy into perhaps using guile to weed out these hidden adversaries, people that may be posing as friends at this time, for example, but they really might be secretly your enemies. And also your energy and vitality level may be a little bit more diminished and dissipated than usual, given that we're talking about the 12th house at this time, and Mars, of course, being connected with energy and vitality. And it could also be about confronting some of your own limitations and restrictions, and doing so in a very Scorpio willful manner, if you will, at this time. It could even be confronting some Scorpio type limitations, such as maybe not being resourceful enough, or not passionate enough in things, something that could be Scorpio related. So anyway, well, the next thing up, well, Jupiter will still be in Sagittarius, so at this time the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, as I've stated in previous videos, Jupiter could be rather paradoxical. It could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, it could enlarge and expand the waistline, excuse me, Could also enlarge and expand Sagittarius qualities in general, such as being, very optimistic, exuberant, enthusiastic, jovial, but also the negative ones as well, such as being maybe overly foolhardy, self-righteous, over-optimistic, perhaps anything that could be Sagittarius related, and could also, and overly blunt, overly tactless. And at this time too, though, this could be very auspicious and favorable for Sagittarius, like new beginnings, such as something with sports, or even more specifically, like maybe archery, or something with horseback riding, target practicing, or something with the law, religion, philosophy, anything that could be Sagittarius related. And also philosophers and Jupiterian type people may figure more prominently in your outlook on life, more so than usual at this time. So anyway, well, next thing up, Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, Sagittarius, so you might be dealing with some restrictions and limitations in monetary matters, maybe making you feel somewhat dejected. Now, also, too, you might find yourself taking care of a sickly or debilitated. Could be a person in which you generate income with, or someone you strongly value. It could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, or the joints, and maybe making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy. Now, on a positive note, though, this could also manifest in some cases as doing something Saturn/Capricorn-like as far as making money and generating income. It could be doing something like with dentistry, politics, business. It could be working laboriously, which is Saturn energy, at information technology, or anything Capricorn related, again, such as business, politics. It could be something with dentistry. It could be just general mundane work. And also, too, this could also be a time where you might be gaining structure and discipline in monetary matters, and also doing things with more of a lot of planning and premeditation in connection with these things. And older people might be figuring more prominently in your financial outlook, your resources, your possessions, your self-worth, your self-esteem, and how you feel about yourself at this time. And anyway, and also in some cases, this could be about something where you might feel some kind of dejection, or there might be something that might be making you feel negatively regarding your self-worth and your self-esteem. And a lot of this can be predicated and dependent on aspects. This makes the points in your chart. Let's say if this is making an adverse aspect, say to your natal sun, it could give a more propensity for this, because remember, the sun could be connected like with our ego and our life and having life and doing things. If you have transit Saturn making an adverse aspect to it, you understand what could happen. There can be some loss in connection with that, and it could be about feeling down about ourselves, who we truly are, which is the sun sign. So you understand, or even an adverse aspect to, if this is making an adverse aspect to your natal Venus, that could really give greater propensity for being a little, as far as lack of some restriction or sadness in connection with your self-esteem, your self-worth, and how you feel about yourself, some restrictions in connection with that. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Uranus will still be in Taurus. So at this time, the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So, this could manifest in a multitude of ways, Sagittarius. This could be, well, for one thing, this could be about some kind of unusual health situation, or something connected with something Uranus related, such as something with the ankles or the shins at this time. Or it could even be this time, just be very careful at your workplace, Sagittarius, if applicable. There could be a greater propensity for electric shock, and even it could even be your Uranus and sixth house energy can often be about nerve damage. I have this placement natally. I have actually Uranus almost exactly conjunct my sixth house cusp, and I have irrevocable nerve damage. And I mean, it could also, feel like shocks are going, in me sometimes because of the nerve damage. And remember that Uranus can be connected with nerves, could be connected with electricity and shocks. Now, on a positive note, this could also manifest in some cases in doing something Uranus-like as far as employment goes, such as something with astrology, astronomy, aerospace, even rocket science, something with electronics, computers, innovation. It could be humanitarian work. Also, hold on a moment, people. At this time, too, Sagittarius, you might require more independence and freedom in your daily routine, and it might be that something about your schedule and your daily routine might be have a lot more disruptions, or it could be where it's very erratic and sporadic, and your employment situation may have some instability in it right now. So anyway, it could also be in some cases about going with some kind of unorthodox or unconventional type diet at this time, or health regime. So anyway, next thing up, well, Neptune will be in Pisces still, so the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, well, it could be at this time, Sagittarius, where home family members, people you're close to home with, even the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, maybe maybe a little bit really they might be more nebulous and unclear, more so than usual. They may be somewhat deceptive and duplicitous.